country. So I choose one of the richest provinces in China and one of the poorest, and I do the same with India. And my first finding was like that Indian students in both regions, doesn't matter if they're like the rich or the poorer, they're like way better and quick in learning English. Probably one of the reasons is because of their historical reason, so because they will be like a colony from the British, but it's not enough to say like they are so-called better than Chinese. To really, it's like it's more like a linguistical and grammatical issue. So first of all, most of, if not all of the Indian language is not like appropriate term, but just to understand like the territory of India, they have an alphabet. So having an alphabet helps a lot to learn English because it's based on another alphabet. Chinese, they don't. Chinese is the only language. Chinese as a family of language is the only languages in the world that doesn't have an alphabet. So they are based in what is called like in jargon is called like ideogram, but they're called logogram. So this stuff basically make a big struggle for Chinese people learning any kind of languages, but specifically English. Also because their tone, the tonality they use in the language is very different than what they use in English. But when we are talking about technologies and most advanced way of teaching and learning English, China definitely beat India. This because like their technological structure and system is way more advanced and developed. So China, I experienced on my life in China, they have like a very super fast internet speed. There is internet pretty much everywhere. And so that's like they can access virtually, they can access to any kind of materials that's it can be beneficial for both, for teachers and learners. There is also another aspect of China that, of course, because of their political system, let's say that a lot of material are accessible, but shouldn't be accessible because they have like some internet blockage. But, you know, everybody find their own way to find the material online. So it seems like for the student I interview for my research, is not a big problem to find material like YouTube, for example, a video or textbook, etc. But that's when we go to see India, they struggle to find this material because India is not doesn't have a very good internet coverage. And here we can see really the inequality between the rich and the poor countries. Because in the poor provinces, the poor states of India, there is nothing we can take for granted. For example, not everybody have internet. Or I will say like probably a very small percentage they have internet. And then make it like a big challenge for teaching English to these people, even if they're online. So as all of us know, as online educators, like the online learning and teaching experience is a big deal in our world, because especially now in a pandemic. So because we can reach everybody, we can teach everybody, we can have access to materials, but in some areas of this world, still not possible. And not just because the pandemic, for example, but it's not possible for the last 10, 15 years. We have some school in Indian states and in some part of China when there is no access. Basically, we don't have like an internet cable, we don't have a Wi-Fi, we don't have even a computer. So in my research, taking into account also these aspects, like how we can teach online and learn online, even in this kind of challenged place. And there are like several projects, several approaches. Of course, we do need at least an internet access in the school, but not necessarily we need all these students, they have a computer or they have internet. They can, for example, they can go to the school in their classroom and use the internet access of the school. So these are like, there are two different approaches in my research to understand how they study English online from the point of view of the linguistic point of view and the technological point of view. So the challenge is try to put these two main features together, because like as we say in my own language, it is Italian, there is like some people, they have teeth, but they don't have bread. And some people, they have bread, but they don't have teeth. So we need to put together the bread and the teeth. And another aspect is like the insufficient materials that we can use for these people, we can give it to these people. For example, in China, another issue is the copyright. So you can find plenty of materials, but none of them that are like copyrighted, protected, and royalties protected. So it's like, this is more from our point of view as an educator, as a teacher. Everything that you publish in China in a textbook, you know already you will never make money, because there will be like selling very few copies, and then automatically will be like completely pirated. And if you think of populations of China, we're talking about more than 1 billion people. It's very easy to have your textbook copy like 100,000 times, something that probably like in some country like Serbia, Bosnia, Italy, Spain, 100,000 copy is a really best-selling book. But in China, it's nothing, because 100,000 people, is just like probably a neighborhood in one of these cities. And that is more like from the point of view of the teachers. From the point of view of learning, it's like what I experienced in my university. You can talk, you can use any kind of topic to speak and practice your English, especially for advanced learners. But you only have to be conscious in which country you are. So you can do virtually, this one you can do with any people in India, even in this poor province, but in China not. So in China, when you use, for example, for advanced students in other countries, for example, you can use topics like religion, politics, sex also. But in China, you can't, because they're like considered like hot topic. And then, of course, from the point of view, from the linguistical point of view, it's a minus for us as a teacher, because if you want to teach something advanced, like, as I said before, like politics, it's impossible. And then like some students are limited because they can learn, they can build up their vocabulary because they can reach a certain level, and then they can never experience any kind of other topics. And vice versa, that's you can do in India. So in short, like one of my last find is like Indian, no matter if they have internet or not, no matter if they're like rich or poor states, they can be more successful in learning English online because their political system allow to be more open-minded and open to other culture, and this like consequently can give you like a lot of more ideas, materials for the teacher's point of view. China lacking this part because is accessible, but in the same time is not accessible. And the other second point I said before, like, is more like the language. Is a language that is among linguists is considered like an isolated languages. So which means they don't have any other language you can compare. So grammar is completely like unique. The language, how they speak, the pronunciation is very unique. That would make a lot of challenging to Chinese when they speak. And that's it from my point of view. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Matteo. That was pretty interesting. Is there anyone who would like to ask Matteo something? Okay, Blaža, please.
Yes, I would like to ask you, what do you think, what is the reason for Chinese students to learn English so well? For example, it happens so many times that I have a 4 years old kid who reads English perfectly. How is it possible? Like, is it because their characters are different than English alphabet and English alphabet is too easy for them? Is the thing in their parents? Are their parents forcing them to study, or what could be the reason from your point of view?
I think in this case, it's more like their educational system. The educational system, probably compared to our system as a European, is quite tough. So they start since they're like child, they start to learn, like they have a workload of 4 or 5 hours every day studying, no matter the subject. So that which means when they grow up, they're already like accustomed to study a lot. They get used, they struggle less. For example, they are very good in mathematics, Chinese also. And then it's also help a lot them scientifically to study other subjects, because they can really organize very well their workload, their calendar schedule, etc. And nowadays, probably in the last 20 years, Chinese kids, they're like make a huge progress, because they start to learn English, as you say, like since you're like child. I have many students also online, they're like kids, and their parents, they never take the English class as an extracurricular activity or something for fun. So they really want to know what you teach, what they learn. They want to have a goal. Every week they summarize this with me, with other teachers. They don't just do it for the sake of doing. That was probably, that is my opinion, probably it was what's happened for us probably 40 years ago in Europe, when we need to know English, we need to know other languages, because we want to be want to be aware of the rest of the world. We want to find job opportunities, of course. That's what happens right now in China. And again, when you think about over 1 billion of people, it's a huge competition that we don't have like in our singular country. For them, it's like, if I don't study English, if I'm not one of the best, I'm dead. They can't do any progress. They can't find a job. So I think Chinese people, they really value, in general speaking, they really value their education.
Okay. Thank you.